Yes, good evening to you all. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to the Football Tribe GG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another broadcast of a Tuesday night football because the Premier League match day 37 is concluding tonight with fixtures between uh, Manchester City and AFC Bournemouth, as well as Crystal Palace up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. So plenty of action. That action is ongoing. We are into the second half following first half leads for Crystal Palace as well as Manchester City. And then, so that's so far been the action. A lot of news making the rounds in as far as transfers are concerned, but still Manchester United are dominating the affairs over the transfers in as far as today is concerned. So really, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Florian Bats continues to, dominate news with so many teams, targeting him. And but basically, we've spoken about him at great length in as far as Man City's withdraw their interest. We've spoken about Liverpool's interest. We've talked about Bayern Munich and that kind of thing. So it's been quite impressive. It's been quite a lengthy day for me, a rainy day as well, but quite tiring as well. But I figured, why not? Why not come on here and get a few things out of the way in as far as those fixtures are concerned. We did enjoy the first half. That's between Manchester City and AFC Bournemouth. Quite a good number of missed opportunities there. Kevin De Bruyne missing a sitter in there, hitting the crossbar in that game that could have easily made it 2-0. Of course, Omar Mamosh scoring a very, very stunning goal, by the way, to make it 1-0. And then, of course, you had Bernardo Silva score towards halftime to make it 2-0 to ensure that Manchester City go into the break with a lead. And then, of course, on the side of Crystal Palace, who are now in leading the game by 3-1. Hi guys, hi everyone, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is my name. Please like the broadcast, and if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to our channel and help us continue to grow. I can see we are 24 people on the broadcast and only 2 have liked the broadcast. So kindly like the broadcast and also let me know where you're joining us from and what country are you in, what city. So please let me know where you're joining us from. Just click that like button and also help me subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And I do understand majority of you are new here, so help me do that as we prepare to get into the gist of the conversation in as far as those games are concerned in the Premier League right now. But there's plenty of news that we're going to be discussing in this night's broadcast. I want to say thank you to all our usual suspects, Mariam Omoto, Safa Ali, James, and Amlen, and all the others, that are, that have kept us company. So during the course of the last couple of days, that have always been here with us. Anyways, like I said, Crystal Palace are close into a 3-1 lead against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That game is in the 54th minute, and Eddie Nketiah has a brace in that one, scoring in the 27th minute of the game as well as the 32nd minute of the game. Ismail Sarr and Essie are providing the assists for those 2 goals. Then, but of course, Abdo had scored the opener for Wolverhampton Wanderers in the 24th minute. So just 3 minutes later, Eddie Nketiah did score to pull one, to restore parity, and that was the case. And now, in the 50th minute of the second half, Ben Chilwell did score. Remember, Ben Chilwell is on loan from Chelsea to Crystal Palace, so he did score the 3rd goal of the game. And Crystal Palace are leading by 3 goals to 1. The game between Man City and AFC Bournemouth is still by 2 goals to 0. We are into the 57th minute of the game as we speak. So that's the progress or the updates in as far as the Premier League match day 37 is concerned. And then, of course, the Arsenal's debate, rages on. That's the debate between the debate between Benjamin Sesko versus Victor Gyökeres in regards to Arsenal fans trying to iron out which striker do they go for. The considerations have now extended to Victor Osimhen, who I do not think they have any concrete interest in. But anyway, it's all for comparison purposes to see who better suits the Arsenal game and that kind of thing. And then, of course, Liam Delap, who we all know that Manchester United are interested in signing, as well as Chelsea has been mentioned in some of those debates. Hugo Ekitike has been recommended, and that kind of thing. We've spoken about Jonathan David and those kinds of things. So they've been making the rounds. And then Liverpool continue to make advances in the transfer market. And some of what Harvey Elliott did speak in the aftermath of their 3-2 defeats last night, and he said the future is open. He will decide what's best for his future, but for now he's focused on playing the last game of Liverpool to complete the season, and then they will see what happens. But again, because he's been subject to a transfer speculation with the potential move to Leeds and as well as Nottingham Forest. So that's that as well. So guys, you can let me know any topic, anything you want us to discuss, as we also keep our sights on these games that are ongoing. Particularly, I've been following the game between Manchester City and AFC Bournemouth. They've managed to keep Antoine Semenyo out of the game. They really kept him quiet. Justin Kluivert had a chance or two in the first half, but couldn't bury it. We had Evan Nilsson hitting the upright, but also Man City did hit the crossbar and that kind of thing. So really, Erling Haaland they had managed to keep him quiet, but they couldn't keep Omar Mamouche at bay, as well as Bernardo Silva. So this is the final home game, by the way, for Kevin De Bruyne, to whom so many Premier League players have paid their tributes to. I do not know. I think the feeling is that he could be leaving the Premier League, could end up at a club like Napoli. He has offers from the Saudi Pro League. He has offers from the MSL, that's the US Major League Soccer, and things of that nature. And then here we are having Antoine Semenyo firing his attempt wide of the mark. It was actually deflected by Joško Guardiola. So, hello friend, unfortunately I have to work to do today. I can't stay long. Okay, that's understandable, Safa Ali. Thank you for being with us for the few seconds that you've managed to afford us. Good to hear from you. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you've had a wonderful day. Best of luck in your work as you go for your shifts. All that we can wish you is the best of luck in that. But good to have you. All right. See you later. See you later as well, Safa Ali. That's Safa Ali for us. A Fenerbahce fan, as well as Arsenal in the UK and Real Madrid, right there, best in Turkey. Saying hello to us before he goes to work. Anyways, like I said, Florian Wirtz is been really making the rounds, with Liverpool being now said to be front runners. But of course, earlier on in the day, we did know that Bayern Munich are his first priority. Those were the reports that we're getting, and that Bayern Munich are leading the rest to sign him. But the thing about transfer is anything can change at any time. So it's never guaranteed until a deal has been signed. So we are talking about a very, very good player, a youngster, only 22 years of age, that is really, really on demand in as far as European football is concerned. And we all know that Bayern Munich oftentimes form the gist of the German national team. And for most players, you remember they did want to sign Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen. He ended up at Chelsea. Even when he was living at Chelsea, Bayern Munich had interest. He ended up at Arsenal. We all know what happened to Mario Götze when in his prime at Borussia Dortmund. He ended up at Bayern Munich. They've had Joshua Kimmich, Leon Goretzka. That's the core of the German team. And then, the few plans over the years, Miroslav Klose, like when Thomas Muller, Bayern Munich formed the core of the German national team, and that's why they are always out and about trying to get that best player, especially the German player, to stay in Germany, but more importantly, to play for Bayern Munich. So that's always the intent. And then we can see pictures of Rodri warming up, possibly getting to get to feature. Remember, he's not been in action since I think October last year when he suffered that anterior cruciate ligament injury in Arsenal's 2-2 draw against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. He had a bit of a simple tackle with Thomas Partey before he got that ACL injury. So that has kept him out of action for the better part of the season. So tonight, it looks like they are going to be welcoming him back on the playing turf, and we all know what he means to Man City. He makes the difference. Whether he will be the same player post-injury remains to be seen. Usually, that ACL injury treats different players differently. Sometimes players suffer setbacks. We saw that with Hector Bellerin. We've seen that with Eder Militao. We've seen those kinds of incidences. And then one of the players that did suffer one of such injuries and was never the same was at AC Roma. I think it was Nicole Zaniolo. And there's another player who also recently did come to, I think, Aston Villa on loan, and he was equally formerly at AC Roma. His name slips my mind, but he's a left-footed player. He played around the same time with Nicole Zaniolo, and once they suffered those long-term injuries, they were never the same. And I think it's the same risk that Ricardo Carafiori carries because he suffered a bad knee injury during his early stages of the career. Every time he has a knee issue, it's always a big concern whether it's a recurrence of the same issue, whether it's something different, and that kind of thing. So that kind of threat never really goes away for players that do suffer those kinds of injuries that keep them out for lengthy periods. We all know Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal suffered a similar injury and he's needed surgery. Yes, in Arsenal's final game at the Emirates Stadium, we did see him walk without sticks, which was quite encouraging. But we all know he's still a long way from full recovery and that kind of thing. So let's really wait and see how things develop in that respect. So, anyways, that's some of the biggest news. Then the other news, I think that was revealed by Ben Jacobs. It was regarding Rodrigo Goes. That's from Real Madrid. Because we all know he did reveal that Real Madrid are open to letting the 24-year-old Brazilian leave the club, and it's something we've spoken about before regarding the player of how he's fallen out of favor at Real Madrid and that kind of thing. So they are open to letting him go, but according to Ben Jacobs, Real Madrid could demand a fee in the region of 90 to 100 million euros if they are ready to let him sign for another team. But again, we'll keep an eyes on that. And he did say that Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea are well aware of the situation. They are informed. They see it as an opportunity in the market. Whether it is one that they will capitalize on, we'll wait to see, because 100 million euros, which is about 85 million pounds or slightly above that, is quite, a big outlay, a big outlay. So really, that kind of financial outlay, you'd expect that it does all a team's plans in how they go about the transfer market. Then earlier on today, we did speak about Nico Williams because Barcelona no longer hold interest in the player. The president of Barcelona, that's Joan Laporta, he did acknowledge while doing an interview, I think with TV3 in Spain, that yes, last summer they held interest, but that interest has ceased to exist because they've moved on to other targets. Their circumstances have changed. And in the morning again, we spoke about the resurgence of Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, them having Fermin Lopez, having Ferran Torres, and those kinds of players. Then they are interested in Marcus Rashford, which then doesn't really encourage them to go for Nico Williams, whose form this season has really dropped beyond the expectations or beyond the levels that we had witnessed of him at the 2024 Euro Championships. So clearly, it's not something. There is a straight red card in that Manchester City game that has been dished out to, I think, to Mateo Kovacic, a straight red card. So that could easily change the fortunes of the game. While Wolverhampton Wanderers have already scored to pull another back against Crystal Palace. That goal scored by Jürgen Strand-Larsson. Jürgen Strand-Larsson has scored to make it 3-2 for Crystal Palace. But in this game here, Mateo Kovacic seems to be, he's received a straight red card for a simple, tag or pull on an AFC Bournemouth player. For me, he does deny goal scoring opportunity for the sake of consistency, because he had simply just crossed that, center line. He just crossed that center line. And for the sake of consistency, given that they gave that kind of red card to William Saliba against AFC Bournemouth, and then they did not give a similar red card, a red card for a similar incident. I think for the game against for the game against I think it was Crystal Palace Tottenham Hotspur. That was the game. I do not remember the player being pulled back, but the red card wasn't given. So we've seen those inconsistencies in the officiation of the game. And then, of course, Kevin De Bruyne is being withdrawn, receiving rounds and rounds of applauses from the Manchester City fans who know that they've been watching him for the very, very last time at the Etihad Stadium this season and for the rest of time, because this is his final season at the Etihad Stadium. But Mateo Kovacic has been given a straight red card for denying a goal scoring opportunity, even though it was still near the center arc. I think, in as far as, it looked like a simple tag on the Bournemouth player's arm, but as soon as he felt that touch, he hit the floor, and of course, it was a straight red card, without a doubt, for purposes of consistency. On any other day, maybe we'll have to debate the broader context of that particular issue, but that's what it's felt like. That's what it's really felt like. But anyway, it is what it is. Those are the rules. Can Manchester City hold it out with about 20-25 minutes left to play with a manless? If Man City cannot hold it out, then who will? Because they are really capable of doing that. They are indeed capable of doing it. All they need is to try and soak in the pressure, do not concede in the next 10-15 minutes, and then they will be able to see out the game. Of course, that calls for a change of strategy, bringing in a change of energy for FC Bournemouth. But let's wait and see. I remember our prediction was a 2-1 victory for Manchester City. That was our prediction for this particular game. While the game between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers, our prediction had been a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 draw, but it is already 3-2 in the scoreline. My expectation was that it would end in a draw. Let's see if it can be a 3-3 draw again, and we see. But that remains to be seen. In as far as this fixture is concerned, I can see Andoni Iraola trying to, see if he can get things tweaked here and there. And then, of course, tomorrow we do have the finals of the UEFA Europa League. So we'll be discussing that in the morning at extensive length. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, guys, allow me to wrap it here and wish you guys a wonderful rest of the night. Stay blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.